ora, my name is Dr Danielle Shanahan and I'm the Director of the Centre for People and Nature here at the incredible Zealandia Sanctuary. Well, we have a really exciting project underway, one of our last major restoration efforts. We're working to restore the life force, or the modi, of this beautiful reservoir, Roto Kawau. It's quite a complicated feat, as you might imagine. Currently, this Roto Kawau is very unhealthy. It's experiencing an algal bloom roughly every year, so we're seeing that happen. It makes it a pretty poor environment for our fish and our birds to flourish in. One of the major causes of that issue is actually an overabundance of introduced perch that we have in this reservoir. There are literally thousands of small perch living within here. You can't see them when you visit, but they are there beneath. So our first major project is about removing those perch so that we can give space for our native wildlife to flourish again. And this is a pretty big project involving many people along the way, many different groups and organisations, and ultimately it's going to be a collective effort. But our first step is going to be all about lowering our reservoir, so reducing the size of the water body, and using a substance called rotenone that will help us remove those fish and create that safe environment for our native species. Now, rotenone is quite a fish-specific substance, so it will pretty much only affect the fish in this system. Our birds are safe from it, people are safe from it. We'll have all the protocols around that need, so for example, we'll be closed on the days where we are using that substance. But we are doing thorough wildlife risk assessments, of course, and taking every precaution with all of the other incredible wildlife that we do have here at Zealandia. We do have a very low diversity of native fish life here in the sanctuary, which are of course the other species that could be affected by rotenone. We have banded cockapoo, and we have a significant effort to capture as many of those individuals as possible and move them into our upper reservoir. After the project, we'll move some back to start the breeding cycle again. We also have tuna, both short and long-finned eel here in the sanctuary. We've had an effort over the past couple of years to remove as many of those as possible and shift them further downstream. Now, this is actually important for other reasons, because the tuna, the eels here in the sanctuary, are unable to complete their life cycle. They can't leave once they get up through our predator exclusion structures in the stream. So this exercise of capturing the tuna and moving them out actually enables them to complete their life cycle when they see fit. So this project will be happening from around March through to around August this year, and you'll see some quite noticeable changes within the sanctuary, but it's a really good chance to get up close and personal with an ongoing and potentially extremely high impact project that will change the face of conservation at this site. One of the first changes you'll see is that the lower reservoir level will actually start to drop as we pump it a bit lower. That will come up again later, but you'll have a chance to see what lies beneath for a little while. Some of the other changes will be our heritage lawn will have a fence up to keep people safe and away from that lake edge. Unfortunately, during the time, our pontoon walkway and also our boat won't be running, so bear that in mind on your next visit. But of course, there are so many incredible things to see. The other major changes that we'll have underway is that the takahe are actually going to be moved up to our perimeter area for the duration of this project. What's cool about this is you're actually going to be able to see the takahe in a different spot up in that perimeter track area. You may even see them from the outside of the fence, but they won't be here on our takahe lawn at the time. So this project is firmly anchored in science. It's actually a project that's very similar to one we've undertaken before, and one that's opened up a huge range of opportunities for us in terms of conservation of some of our lesser known species that we have in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So if you have a chance when you're here next, visit our upper reservoir. In around 2011, we worked with the Department of Conservation to remove trout from that system. Now, trout are so important to many of us for fishing and so forth, but in that system they were causing problems for our native species. It wasn't the right place for them. So the trout were removed from that system, and as a result we've been able to reintroduce endangered species, in particular a really cool one, which is the kakahi, or freshwater mussel. It's something that many people aren't aware of, that we have freshwater mussels in New Zealand, but they are incredibly important species for filtering out our water systems, making them cleaner, and they're pretty cool in their own right. Of course, this project is all about restoring ecosystems. One day, this lake will be flourishing like the rest of the sanctuary. Our intention, once this project is complete, is that we can continue to make space for our precious native fish and native invertebrates. We'll be able to carry out translocations that weren't possible before, bring species back that haven't been here for many, many years. And again, we're creating another iconic place in Wellington, a place that makes us a little bit different from everywhere else, and a place where nature is given space to thrive.